Hello. Thought I'd try this time and see if it's a little bit earlier for anybody that's staying up late to join these. Whew, my hair is a mess. I've been outside. I am very sweaty. But yeah, I just thought we'd try a different time, see if some other people can't join. So I'm a little ahead today, so yeah, just a little ahead in editing and wrote an outtake and had to get in Fabian's headspace to write a fan request, and that was a little hard to write. So now we're coming on here. We're gonna refresh the mind. I also wanted to just check and make sure that everybody's okay after the last chapter. I also wanted to throw it out there to the people who, sometimes say my cliffhangers are mean. I just want to say we knew going in this was an illusion because I put it in Eric's chapter first. So originally, that was not the case. We weren't going to know this was an illusion until later, but had pity on everyone, including myself, and let you guys know it was an illusion before we got into that chapter. It was a hard chapter, you guys. It was a hard chapter, right? My husband thought I was a full-on crazy person. So I was crying while writing and editing it. Sammy, you're not okay. That chapter was emotional, ugly crying. Okay, guys. Hi, Cheyenne. I was ugly crying while writing it. Like I legitimately was. That was a hard one to write. But yeah, we're now through it. I knew when I put it in the outline it was going to be a hard one to write, but I underestimated how hard it was going to be for me to write. So that was a doozy. That was a doozy, you guys. Let's see. Today we had our Dylan outtake. Up next, we're going to have a Tabitha outtake. And then we're going to have Haley's impression of meeting Emmeline. And then we have Veronica hunting down some fairies. And then we have a Fabian point of view. That's a rough one. That's a rough one, guys. Are Haley and Eric soul tied as well? So if you mean soul tied like Emmeline and Lucas are tied, no, that's only something the soul seeker can do. They're twilight bound. They are tied in every possible way that they can be. But Haley's not the soul searcher, so she can't tie their souls like Emmeline did. But they're bound through all realities to each other. So if that's what you mean, that's the answer. Thank you for the Dylan outtake. We did. That one came at a great time. I was like, oh, it's Dylan. Okay, we all need some Dylan today. My daughter asked me if I was all right and gave me hugs. Yeah, my husband also gave me a hug and was like, you've lost it. But yeah, guys, are we all okay? It was literally like I started writing that the night before I posted it, which is why I was posting it so early, because I was like, oh, I'll just write a couple pages tonight and go to bed. Well, then it was like, the full-on ugly cry. And I was like, no, I just have to get this part done and then I can go to bed and I won't cry while writing tomorrow. So then I got all that part written from the illusion side and the part where she saw her friends again. And then I underestimated how emotional it would be for her seeking revenge for what she saw. So, then I was writing in the morning because for some reason I'm just waking up at like 6:45 in the morning. Couldn't tell you why. Don't know. Just do. And I'm going with it. So I'm writing or editing and doing things like that. So then I woke up and I put on my Haley's a badass and she's going to kick ass playlist. And, wrote several horrible things that she does to people that totally deserved it. And still cried because she was so upset. It's tough getting into headspaces like that, you guys. a lot of tough headspaces to be in this week. Since Dylan had Buttercup, will we find out what his parents thought about Buttercup? Are we going to find out what his parents think about Buttercup? Is that the question? We're going to check in on Dylan's parents here soon. They will be mentioned in EJ's book. So, yeah, we'll find out what Dylan's parents are doing. So, they are wolfless. Haley didn't give their wolves back. Their wolves didn't want to come back. So, we'll see what they're up to. But yeah, a dose of Dylan is always needed. I saw a couple of comments that in Dream that Dylan at the end of Eric's chapter was too much because everybody was in pain. To that I say, Dylan, in my opinion, at the end of the chapter was still himself, still trying to, bring a little bit of humor to the situation, trying to make people, okay. He does care about Eric. They're friends. He was upset that he was hurt. He was upset that the Hakura were hurting because he knows that means Haley's hurting. So I don't think that Dylan is too much ever. I love Dylan all the time. Are they worried about Buttercup since they're worried about the White Wolf? We'll see what Dylan's parents are up to. We'll see what they're up to, guys. I went through I know the OG Haley went through some bad stuff, but I think this is worse. I'd hate to see what happened. Oh, to the OG Haley if they did this to her. Our OG Haley would be in a state. So that would be something like watching any of them die, but seeing Marcus die would have been it for her. She would have busted out of the illusion and lost it on everybody because she loves all of them, but he saved her. And to a fairy, like, that's very significant. And he was her rock, like that. She could not handle seeing, our original Haley cannot handle seeing Marcus die, or any of them. I don't know how that would go writing for her, because this Haley has a different background. She's our original Haley is stronger in ways that she's not, but our raised Kura Haley is stronger than ways that our original reality Haley isn't. I'm not sure how that would go writing it from her standpoint. I don't want to think about it. I'll start crying, you guys. Okay, rereading book 1, and not to sound dumb, but what is short-sheeting the bed? It's where, the sheet doesn't cover the whole bed. Hi, Faithlin. We hear more stories about Nathan's parents. His backstory seems interesting. His backstory is interesting. I have them on my personal list of what actually went down with his parents, and actually there's a role that Eric plays in there. It's actually really fun. I really like it. It's on my personal list. I do hope that get to write that sometime. But yes, I do have that on my outtake list of what went down with his parents. And what ended up happening, because we know he killed his dad, but what ended up happening with his mom. Hi, Layla. So I do hope I get to write that. His backstory is interesting. So yeah, I do hope I get to write about that. But in the books, I don't know. I don't know if we would hear about that in the books. Yeah, because there are things that happen that Eric doesn't know are significant. So I don't know that it would be anything for him to mention. Hi, Marilyn. From Estonia. Marilyn from Estonia. Hi. But yeah, I'm not sure if it would come out in the books, but yeah, I have plans for the outtakes. What is the Pot Hunters book? Tried searching for it, but couldn't find it. That is a real book. You should be able to Google it. It's 2 words. That's probably the problem. It's a real book. I'll have to find it. I found it when I originally wrote about it. I actually found the first edition of it. I will have to find it again. Google. Ooh, don't let me down. I'll have to find it. I'll have to play with that. I think I looked up like rare collector books, and it was on a list of them. But yeah, I did Google it. It was, oh gosh, I did that a long time ago. And going back, I might edit that. I found a book series that I like, so I might change it to that one in edits. But we'll see. We shall see. But yeah, I'm to Haley, the part in Haley's book where Eric just came back from the summit and Haley's gone. So getting into the craziness of that story, editing wise. So yeah. But this week has been emotional with the chapters, you guys. Will the next chapter start with Eric seeing Haley so broken up? I'm not sure I can take it. Yeah, so it's going to start where he left off. For him, he left it off at, all hell was breaking loose, and that's when Haley's coming down with wings and, electrocuting people. So, yeah, it's going to start, and we're going to see their side and what's going on with them, and kind of what Arian and Aiden tell everybody to do. Because we're also going to see Arian be like, wait, because like the first person Haley went after was the demon who killed Gunnar, and she says he killed Gunnar, and we're going to see Arian be like, hold up, by she saw everybody die, you mean all of them and their mates? And he's like, boy, we've stepped in it now. You have an amazing imagination. Thank you. Marnie, hi from Ireland. Hi, I've been to Ireland. Yeah, I've been to Ireland. I've always wanted to go there and ended up going there a couple years ago now. Nice, very nice people. Yeah, they're all very nice. Was that place called Pizza Bar, babe? Platform Pizza was so good. And I don't. Yeah, Platform Pizza and Box Burger, amazing. Their cocktails were really good. I didn't quite understand what I was supposed to do with the shot of Prosecco that came with all the cocktails I ordered. I guess it's just a thing in Europe that your cocktails come with Prosecco, a shot of Prosecco. I was like, am I supposed to like dip it in my drink? And finally someone told me I was just supposed to take it like a shot, because I was like dumping it into my drink as I drank my drink. But yeah, that was in Bray. We stayed close to Bray when we were there. Went into Dublin on the Dart. I'm glad my husband remembers what all these things are called. He's telling me from the kitchen. But yeah, we went into Dublin on the Dart and did the hop on, hop off bus. It was a lot of fun. I love Arian in this book. That making me sad for what happened into the OG. Yeah, I've been sad about it for a while, just knowing how they could have been together. But yeah, I feel like this book really highlights it for the first time for everybody, like what could have been, what should have been for those siblings. Because In the first book, not a lot of people were sure if they liked Aiden and Arian, and I love them both. Like they're misguided, they were misled. But to me, it just kind of highlights, the different paths people have in life and how you could be totally different from the ones you choose to take. So, but yes, I love them both. Your poor heart can't take it. It's not as intense from Eric's side as it was Haley's. He is still broken seeing her this way, but it's not as intense as, she saw everybody she loves basically die. So it's not quite that intense. When you're gauging it up against something like that, it's like nothing is that intense. It's still intense, but after her chapter, it's like, oh, okay, we're fine. Still, maybe a couple tears. I'll let you know after I start writing it if that's true or not. I'll warn you if it's not true, you guys. After Raised to Kira, we'll be going straight into EJ's book. Yes, we will. I'm in Cork. Next time you're in Ireland, my sister and I will have to take you out. Yes, I would love to come back to Ireland. It was a lot of fun. How far is that from Bray? That's that's where I stayed. So, we stayed at the Power Scott Marriott Hotel, where you could absolutely tell who was an American because like everybody else looked very nice all the time. And I was like walking around in my yoga pants and like a hoodie because I was on vacation. I was like, man, they dress up over here. I'm like in my yoga pants, just walking around. Will OG Haley ever find out the part Alania played in Arian's demise? She knows to a degree. She's the one who told them that Alania kind of started the path. She doesn't know about the letter because Megan, Arian's mate, has the letter, which we know because we've seen that outtake with Veronica. So she doesn't know to what extent it is, but she kind of has an idea that her mom was not who she pictured her as a child. So it's not really something she wants to focus on. But it's only a few hours from Bray. Cool. But yeah, to the extent Alania played in Arian's demise, I don't know. I think that might just be something that she kind of guesses. The question would be, do the kids know? That's the question. Will we see an outtake of Fenelton seeing Alania in the Beyond? I believe I have that on the list. Let me double check. I think somebody requested that. Yes. There is, let's see, I just wrote the Fabian outtake, so then I have an outtake of Lacey's point of view when Haley and Aiden come to get her out of the contract in Ireland. We're going to talk about Ireland a lot today, you guys. And then we have the point of view. So in book 3, Haley got a letter from Alania when she was with Lexi, but Eric showed up and so did all of Haley's brothers and her dad and took her to the Hakura realm. So there's a request to see what happened there. Really excited about that one. And then we have Aiden calling Lucinda in book 1 and their conversation, the first time they've spoken for a while now. So, and then we have Fenelton, Arian, and Alania meeting for the first time once she comes to the Beyond. So that is on the list. How in Raised to Kira? How in Raised to Kira the demons and witches make such a powerful illusion, and the OG Haley used fake Eric. In the original reality, Haley was not. Our Haley has not been in an illusion. Emmeline was, but Haley was in a sim, which is a fairy thing. So a fairy can tell when they're in a sim. You look for a ripple. Illusions don't have that. You have to fight an illusion to get out. You have to use powerful magic to break it. And that's in book 2. It took Katie and her brothers to break Lucas and all of them out of the illusion they were in so that they could get to Emmeline. because she fought it. She knew it was an illusion, and she fought it because she was raised with witches. And that's why this Emmeline told Haley to fight it, because she knows that you can fight an illusion. But Haley has no practice of fighting things like that. It was very dark magic, but it's not like The Sims in book 1. Let me know if that answered your question, because I feel like it was cut off. But yeah, in Race to Cura, yeah, they were calling her Angel because Alania knows that Eric calls her that. So they had knowledge that they didn't. Fabian didn't care to really know anything about Eric and Haley's relationship. This demon and everybody, demons pay for information, demons can spy on people. So they've been collecting information about how to, what they believed. They believed that seeing this illusion would just devastate her to a point where she was just like kind of there. She wasn't going to do anything about what they were going to do. She was just going to be broken. That's what they thought that this illusion would do to her. So that's what they were gathering information for. They wanted to find a way to totally break her and just break her spirit completely. They didn't count on her Hakura blood and her desire for revenge. So okay. That cleared up. Okay, good. I'm glad that cleared up, because yeah, illusions and Sims are different. Illusions are something that a witch and covens can put you into. They're different. They can be very, very realistic. They have real people in them. So the people that she saw weren't who she saw, but they were people. So yeah, she wasn't just like holding nothing. This wasn't just in her mind like a sim is. It was happening. It just wasn't what she thought it was. That's the illusion part of it. I'm in Cork. Next time you're in Ireland. Okay, I read that. But yeah. But I've also seen people asking if we're going to find out what Emmeline is in danger from. No, that's in Emmeline's book from this reality. It's just setting that book up. How long from the time you write chapters until they're posted? So it varies. Usually, as soon as I finish a chapter, I go back and edit the first 3 pages so I can post a sneak to you guys. I usually let those be up for a few hours before I post the chapter. But sometimes, I don't get to finish editing until my son goes to sleep. So sometimes it's a little longer. Just really depends on the chapter and how my day is going. Lately, I've been able to stay a little bit ahead. So I've been well ahead of my, 11 p.m. Central Standard Time deadline. But really, it depends. Sometimes it can be, it's usually at least 2 hours after I post the sneak peek for you guys. That was a rough chapter. My mom is visiting from out of state, so I'll have to watch later. Oh, hi, Levon, later. Spend time with your family. But yes, I know it was a rough chapter, guys. It was rough to write. It was hard to do. I have so many fan requests. I don't even know how to choose one anymore. My list is so long. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. That's what I've got. Flip a coin. Post a poll. That's what I would do. But so the next few books are EJ, then Cassie, then Alexander, then that's the question. I haven't decided if we're going to go straight into Keaton's book or if my process is going to be to do 3 OG books and then a ribbon book. So Alexander's book, I'll just have to see where my head's at, because there's a lot of setup going on for Keaton's book, and I'm really excited about his book. Then again, I'm excited for EJ's book, but I was also excited for this one. And the poll that won from you guys about which ribbon you wanted to see next, I think it is the one where Phelan doesn't die. She goes back to Arthur immediately instead of ever being with her mate. And she finds out what's happening to Haley and she fakes her death. That's a fun one. So might jump back to a ribbon after Alexander's book, might jump straight to Keaton's. I haven't decided. Hi, Lucia. Can they kill Alania in the Beyond, please? That she's already dead. Once you're in the Beyond, you're already dead. Are you still enjoying writing? Is it your downtime? We are lucky you're sharing your talent. I do still enjoy writing. I like it a lot. I get a lot out of it. It's very fulfilling to me to write. I love writing this reality. If I didn't, I wouldn't do it. I'm going to be honest. But honestly, you guys are the reason that I can do it at the rate that I was. This Patreon group is why I can keep doing something that I love. Because I do love it. I don't like editing. It's necessary. As you know, you'll notice there's still mistakes once it gets posted, and that's with me going through it, writing it, and then going back through it. So things do get missed, but I do like writing and telling the story and talking with you guys and seeing your comments on everything and how you guys feel about what's happening. Can't wait. Totally love your stories. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited about where this is going. I guess there's more options after Alexander's book because I do have outlines on a lot of the couples that we've seen. I have outlines on Marabella and Tucker. I have outlines on Logan and Katie, Margus and Torby, Astrid and Bjorn, and I'm toying with one about Titus and Veronica after their outtakes. So I have so many outlines, so many choices, you guys. Did you get my entire comment? It said it was too long. I don't see a comment from you, Ramonza. So type it again. Multiple sections. Let's go. Are you going to do a ribbon story where they catch the whole ring? So a ribbon story, not at this point. Because at this point in our OG reality, we don't quite know who's behind it. So I'm not going to reveal who's behind it in a ribbon. But that's kind of where the OG story is building to. So no, they're not going to catch the whole masterminds of the ring in this book. They're in a pretty solid place in this book about what they know. But yeah, I don't see a comment from you, Ramonza. Hit me again. Type it in multiple little things. But yeah, the bigger OG reality is building towards like who's behind this, what's going on. And once we know that, it opens up a lot of other things in the ribbon realities that we can talk about because we'll already know who it is. But yeah, let's see. Oh, I thought of another ribbon reality the other day. Part of it, I'm not sure if it's going to go into one of the ones I've already thought of, but it's the one I thought of is how Eric and Haley meet, and it's fun. We need the promised siblings in the OG reality with your fantastic imagination. Can you please find a way to bring Arian back? He was so cheated. He was. Arian still talks to Aiden and Haley from the Beyond. He can't come back, unfortunately. He was killed. But yeah, he can't come back. They would have brought him back if they could have by now. Haley can heal a lot, but she can't bring back somebody from the dead. But he was cheated. I agree with that. He was manipulated, but he was culpable. He made choices, and he could have made different ones, but he was very manipulated, and Raised to Cure Arian shows how he could have been. Will Reality Haley go to the OG Haley in the ribbon to give her information away? So they've already seen each other. So that Haley, that OG Haley, is not coming back into this book. And this Haley is not going to go to her. They've already seen each other in this book. I just want to say thank you. The series is truly my escape. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. I'm glad that you really like it. I love writing it. It's my escape too. It's a lot of fun. I tried. You did try. Yeah. I toyed with him in the first book, and where his storyline was truly going to go. Unfortunately, it couldn't go anywhere else but where it went. Yeah. But I love Arian. I love his character. I think we get to see more of his fun, loving side in this book. You can see he is pretty funny. So, yeah. Can Arian talk to Megan from the Beyond, or can she summon him? She could summon him. He could summon her to the Beyond because, they have a child, so they could do that. Where's Tabitha in the OG story? I can't stand Jessica. So we're going to find the answer to that. We'll find out where Tabitha is in the original story. We have met who her mate is in the original reality. So she is with him, but we just didn't see her. So, but she is in the original reality. She'll be mentioned in EJ's book. So she'll be around, guys. Don't worry, Tabitha is still around. Because I've had a couple people say, "Oh gosh, is Haley gonna find out about the ring in Kentucky with Al because of Tabitha?" Well, not all of them know because they're not on here and didn't read the outtake. Tabitha had a plan. Like, she was going to get away from Al. She had money. She had a plan. So she's not in Kentucky. In OG reality, does Megan find out about her baby with Arian, the one that was made by his uncle? Sorry if this question was asked. I don't think this has been asked. I think people have said it. I don't think it's been asked on a live. So does she find out that they have a child? Yes. They still have a son that was in that orphanage. Aiden had him. He didn't know it was Megan's child. He knew it was Arian's, that it was a half fairy, half something. But Megan does visit the castle, so she did find out relatively quickly that she had a son as well as a daughter. She found out after we saw her in Emmeline's book. So we see her in Emmeline's book when she came to help save Emmeline from David. So at that point, she didn't know. She finds out after that. Because she wants her daughter to meet her siblings because they're still Arian's children. So then she finds out when she goes to introduce her daughter to her siblings. Okay. Ramon said, I still haven't seen the question. Oh, was the question about the promised siblings? I don't know why that wouldn't fit. I was expecting a novel of questions. Okay, that was the question. Okay, good. But Jessica's not a bad person. And our original Harold loves her. She's the mother of his children. She's his mate. So Jessica's not a bad person. She's somebody who made bad choices and who was led astray. I took out some comments. Oh, tell us all your comments. She's somebody who was led astray and who shouldn't have been. She's old enough to know better. But sometimes when you have somebody in your life that you're afraid they're going to leave because they've left you before, sometimes you do things you shouldn't. And that's what I think makes a lot of the characters real. They make decisions that are real. They're out of fear. They're out of something. And part of it, to Jessica, as she said, they all have made, Cassandra does things people don't like, and instead of confronting her, they just kind of shrug it off and deal with it, and she doesn't understand why Haley won't do that. It's to her, it's well, we've all done that. It's what we do. It's what we do here. Just do it. It's one of those things that until someone points out to you, like, hey, that's not really what you should do, you're like, well, it's normal. It's what we do. Um, I just prefer Tabitha. That's fine. I really like Harold and Tabitha together. As I said, after I wrote her outtake, I think he's going to be with her in a lot of the other realities. Darren's still the wild card. Darren can have other mates. But yeah, I really like Harold and Tabitha together. So I think they'll be mated in the other realities because I really like her. I really like him. So I think that's what's going to be. Will Jessica and Shanna ever get to a good place with Haley again? We'll see. We'll see what happens with them. We saw in Lexi's book, Jessica was already trying. Shanna had kind of backed off on the whole thing with Cassandra. You can kind of tell at the tournament she just doesn't say anything. So she's just kind of not getting involved in it. But will they ever be as close as Molly and Haley? No, they won't. But that's not to say they won't have some type of relationship. Just about how much I love Arian and how sometimes he acts like a fairy Dylan. He does. They actually, in Emmeline's book, we kind of see they become pretty good friends. They're very similar. No one can touch Dylan. Dylan is the funniest character of all. Can't wait to find out what realm is going to have a wild night after Haley got her wings. Yeah, the fairies know what's about to go down, but the wolves have no idea. And, neither do her hero brothers. They're not prepared. Is it bad that I was anxious reading Eric's last chapter because he was fighting with Haley, but didn't cry during Haley's because I knew she was an illusion? That was part of why it came first in his chapter. So originally in my outline, we didn't know it was an illusion like I did as the author and writer, but the reader wasn't going to know other than the short little hint from Emmeline that where Haley barely heard her say to fight the illusion. That was the only hint that it wasn't real. And then I decided that was too mean, so we changed Eric's chapter to include that she was. It's not bad that you didn't cry. I'm a very emotional person. That's why I cried. It was hard to write. I love all these characters, so writing their deaths was incredibly difficult for me. But yeah, I mean, part of the reason I tried to soften the blow of her illusion by letting the readers know prior to her chapter it was not real. So that was the purpose of letting you all know that it was not real. Hoping that I could spare you some pain. Woohoo! Do you have an outline on any of Emmeline and Lucas's kids? Of course I do. I went through 2 pints of mint chocolate last night. I had a couple of ice cream sandwiches, I won't lie. And several tissues. Went through several tissues. But yeah, I have so many outlines. But yes, I have outlines on Emmeline and Lucas's kids. Particularly one, we've been talking about how mischievous a certain little girl of theirs will be. So have her. Thank you for giving us a heads up. The ugly crying would have been so much worse. Yeah, I felt like this chapter should come with a warning. So feel bad for the people not following me on Facebook that read the books. They don't get a warning till the end of Haley's chapter. But I told them they could come join our Facebook group and chat with us. So. Oh. Hi, Amanda. You didn't miss the live, you're here in time. Hit us with your questions, Amanda. Well, we get chapters of Alania's, not sure if it's spelled right, torture and death. You mean when Titus killed her? It hasn't been requested. I know it went down, but if that's something you all are interested in, somebody can request that scene. It's time for the list. Bring on the list, Amanda. I am ready. But yeah, if that's something you guys are interested in what went down with Alania and Titus, that's absolutely something that in this new book. Oh, in Raised to Cure, we get her death. We're going to see Haley talk to her. We'll kind of see she's a bit messed up when Haley gets there. There'll have to be outtakes on here of what other people did to her. What was Haley's prank on Titus? When? When, which book, which reality? Yeah, when, which book, which reality? I'm going to need more to that question. But yeah, in this new book, we will see Haley and Alania talk. The first one she did in the OG reality. So you heard our Raised to Cure Haley talk about court. Well, she made the people in court hear an echo. So everything Titus said was echoing, and he couldn't hear it, but everyone else could. So they were all like looking around, and he thought they weren't paying attention. So that was the first prank she pulled on Titus. So her brothers figured out pretty quickly that she had something to do with it. So they were laughing, and Titus was like, no one is paying attention. What is going on? And he was not happy. But then when he found out what was going on, he was fine. Because they were just happy that she was having fun, and, you know, he can't get mad at her, really. What do Azoni and the other gods and goddesses look like? Gosh, I don't know. I kind of imagine them like in those like white robes with like glows about them. The fairy goddess has wings. I think I described her with blonde hair. That's tame compared to Veronica's. Yeah, her brothers encouraged her to do the one she wanted to Veronica. This was her first prank on Titus. She's done more. But yeah, it was tame. Veronica wasn't one of the first ones that she did in that realm. So to her, it was kind of, you know, like testing the waters of if she was going to get in trouble and punished for things, because they kept telling her she wouldn't. But, you know, it was tame because, you know, we were seeing if we could come out of our box, because this wasn't just her helping her brothers. She actually did this on her own. So they didn't know she was going to do it. And that wasn't like any of the other pranks she had pulled so far. So it was kind of a tester for her. I tried not to read the outtakes for the past few weeks so I wouldn't have space between this live and tomorrow's chapter, but I failed and was done with 2 hours before this live. You know, it happens. I have no patience. I'm impressed you even got as far as you did. So good for you. I have to go. Thank you for everything you do. Bye, Sammy. I'm so glad you like the books. What is Astrid's father's name, and what prank did Haley pull on Astrid's brother? Remington. We met him. We met Astrid's dad recently when we met her sister. His name is Remington. And what prank did Haley pull on Astrid's brother? I'm actually toying with that for an outtake, so I'm not sure if I'm going to reveal that. Let me think about it. But I've got that on my outtake list. So yeah, I do. Can't type. Okay. I only got this far because I'm also reading 2 other books. Hey, that's a lot of books. You told us you would tell us what the Royal Hakura mates and what they do. All right. Let's pull up their names. Okay. Here. All right. Let's go. Okay, so Callista is a teacher. Got her. Heather. Heather is a daycare worker. Danica. Danica works as a manager of one of Bjorn's bars. Ariel is also a daycare teacher. Gemma cooks. She bakes, kind of like Sally. She has her own little bakery. She makes cupcakes specifically. Nikita is a defense specialist, so she teaches a type of like martial arts defense. Katie was a PI. She's kind of in a career change right now. So she hasn't really picked something that she's going to do in the Hakura realm because obviously, she can go back with her brothers and practice her magic. So the Hakura don't really need PIs. So she's kind of looking for a career path right now. Astrid obviously trains with Bjorn for the armies. Torvi does kind of a mix. So she does train. She helps train, but a lot of her time she's mostly like with her kids. So, but she'll also take some breaks and do that. I think that was all of them. Why wasn't there a boar hunt for Katie when she met Logan? So there was. We just didn't see it. Didn't have. Emmeline 1 wouldn't have gone, and we were in her book. There was a boar hunt for Katie. We just didn't see it because that was going to be something that we saw first in this book. If somebody wants to request the outtake, it did happen. It's just Emmeline wouldn't have been there. So, and we were in her book. So the prince that was met when Tabitha's niece was saved, Haley and Eric discuss it. Will he be showing up soon? Soon is a strong word. Should we remember him? Yes, we should. He's set up for a later book. Who was Andy Grayson's mom's mate in the OG and Raised to Cura? She didn't have one. Like Grayson's dad was her husband. She didn't have one. She just met Grayson's dad and they were married and everything in both realities. So, but yes, Lucia, remember the prince that they met. He's set up for later. Yeah. Not sure when. Eventually, we'll see him again. He's going to come back around. But yes, if you want, you should Google Kitsunes. They're adorable. Lots of fun. The older generation seems to use their last names with their alpha and beta titles. Is it just a trend at the time? Yeah, it is. Most of them just look to what everybody's doing. Obviously, with Eric and his plan and kind of where the packs are going by their first name is what they should do because, if you have multiple brothers, like all the Connors brothers, you can't just say Alpha Connors, 4 of them are going to answer you. So they have to go by their first names. Same with Chase and his brother. So Chase did it because Eric did it. But now it's going to make sense because if you went by Alpha Daniels, then you have Cameron. So are we going to find out who Spencer's mate is? Yes. Yes, we will. Who is the lone wolf that is Elise's guard? His name is Ray. He's got a bit of a tragic backstory himself. But we'll see Ray and EJ in Elise's book because the two sides of the book are EJ and Elise, and Ray is with Elise. So she's not going to leave to join the Connors pack until she turns 18. We did see in this book, Lacey and Dylan talked. So they had a unique thing. One, they knew they were mates since Lacey was born. Even before she was born, they confirmed their mates. So to Lacey, it's a given that they're mates, and she doesn't want to wait until she's 18. So she tells Dylan she wants him to mark her. Dylan gets permission from Dale and Lucas to mark her. And they both talk to Lacey and what she wants. And so that's why he marked her before she was 18. What type of fairy is Lucinda? Lucinda is a sky and earth fairy. But yeah, that's not the case with Elise. Like, it worked out for Dylan and Lacey to mark her early because she was already in their pack. Elise, her parents aren't ready for her to, go live with EJ. So she waits till she's 18 to be marked. So, because, obviously Peter has very strong feelings about being marked and living with your mate because of what he went through and what Drake went through. So yeah, he's like, no, if you're going to be marked, you're going to live with your mate and not ready for you to leave yet. You're, only so old. And so they wait till they're 18. Mary Beth, Arthur's daytime assistant, said she's dating a vampire. Who was it? Oh, who's she dating? She's just dating one of the people in court. To her, it's dating. To him, it's a pet situation. She's not a bonded, so that's to vampires. That's kind of where it's at. They don't really call it dating. So she calls it dating. He calls it a pet. So there's a higher respect there because she's not like she's not somebody who like moved and gave up all her life and her job and stuff to be with a vampire like other pets have. So she still does have a job, but stuff she does during the day. She doesn't expect the vampire to take care of her, which is kind of the perk of being a pet. Like, you're somebody's pet, you're taken care of. You don't have to do anything. You just have to provide them, blood and sex. So, but she doesn't expect that. So to her, it's dating. But it's just one of the people that's in court. So he lives with Arthur, and he's actually the one who recommended her for the job. But it's not somebody that we've named. I will be right back. I'm going to go get a refill. I kept waiting for her to tell Eric. Oh, about the kitsune she met? She's got a lot going on. A lot going on, you guys. What is the meaning of the flower of Foray? We shall find out. No, I'm kidding. I'll tell you. It's like the flowers in Foray are not like they are here. They're like super alive and vibrant, and they're just very fairies like flowers. They like, especially earth fairies, they like anything that's in nature. So it's just a high compliment that he gave her. He has been on my mind. I did Google it and I'm excited. Yeah, hold on to that. We are a few, I don't even know how many books away from that. It is in the OG reality, but we introduced him in this reality so that he could come to play in the OG reality. I'm thinking that will be the book. I know who it is. I'm just not sure when this child of Haley and Eric's book will come out. Do vampires have more than one pet at a time? They can. They can. Most don't, because that brings in like a type of jealousy. So at King Arthur's house, there are people who live there as pets taken care of by the king. They're not his pets. They're just pets for anybody to whatever they're taken care of. They don't have bills. They don't have things like that. They have a place to stay. They have the kitchens open to them. They can have whatever they want. They're just there to provide blood. And if they want, they can go further. But there are some pets who just give blood and just get taken care of. So if a vampire has a specific pet that like travels with them, that lives with them, they tend to only have one. But some of them, depending on the situation, they could have 2 or 3. Is Danver a kitchen Omega or just another Omega that happens to bring Dylan popcorn? So he's just an Omega. He could actually be a warrior. He just doesn't want to. He does like to cook, and he has a special friendship with Dylan, so he'll bring him stuff. But yeah, he does. He can cook. He'll help out from time to time with stuff like that. But he does still practice like training and things like that. That's why he asked if he could guard Dylan's kid. That's actually been his goal. His goal is to be the guard of Dylan's children. So he's been practicing for that. Who is Aubrey and Dustin's daughter's mate? If they have more children, could they control the shadows? I'm not going to tell you who her mate is. They do have more children, and we'll see if they can control the shadows. We know the first one can. Is there any specific reason the fairy realm actually has a name, but the Hercura realm is just the Hercura realm? So yes, because Foray is in. I didn't make up Foray. People talk about that. It's in other books and stuff. I made up the Hercura realm, and I thought if I named it, no one would know what I was talking about. So I just call it the Hercura realm. But that's why. But if you say Foray, people know what you're talking about. Has the mate spoken? Has he spoken? Hold on. Has he spoken? I don't think so. I don't think he has. Don't hold my feet to the fire on that, but I don't think Aubrey and Dustin's daughter's mate has spoken. Have we heard his name? I'm not positive. Maybe. There's so many names, you guys. And now we have alternate realities of people that are named. I'm just not certain if he's been named yet. I know his name. Does that count? I feel like Amanda's going to say that does not count. But I know his name. I'm sure this doesn't help anybody. Who was the water fairy that was helping Ben Price? He's no one that we've named, and Ben Price killed him in the first book. So, yeah, it does not count. Oh, come on, Amanda. But yeah, so the prince, the Kitsune prince. So, yeah, that's going to come back into play with one of Haley and Eric's children. I'm not sure when that book is going to be happening, but I am very excited about it, obviously, because I've already started the setup for it. I have no chill, guys. I've left breadcrumbs since book 1 for this, for all sorts of things. I just keep leaving breadcrumbs. I've been teasing Keaton's story since before we even knew Keaton's name. Yeah, lots of little things that characters have said. Once Keaton's book comes out, people are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, Amanda," and I'm gonna be like, "I know." We only mentioned it a million times. I keep waiting for someone to say why they keep talking about this, but it's subtle, and if you don't know what I know, it probably doesn't make sense. What is Beta Bond's actual first name? We're gonna find out. We find out in EJ's book what his first name is. Dylan rejects it wholeheartedly. Is the prince gonna be one of Haley's daughter's mates? No, it's not an in-law. No, he's right now in the current reality, he's the same age as actually he's older than Eric. So he's not one of the kids' mates. We just need to know about him. Okay, my phone dinged like there was a question, but no question came in. So if you asked a question, I'm gonna have to have you ask it again. But yeah, when people come in that like they're a royal family of something, guys, just hang on to their name because they'll come back up. Especially, I do like research for these books and other things that are out there as lore. And I found a kitsune and I was like, that's adorable because I have all the mates of Haley and Eric's kids figured out. But there are some mates who are going to be half something. And so I have to find that half to go with. And I saw a kitsune and was like, done. Added that to the outline. Is there a werewolf council in each state? So no. The werewolf council is the werewolf counselor over all of them, no matter where they are. So it's not per state, it's over all of them. And it used to be alphas too. So like you're an alpha and they have you on the council. It led to a lot of problems. Obviously, as you saw, like they didn't have the time to do it. They weren't very good at the council job. And, they showed preferential treatment to their own packs and their own stuff. And, they were a little corrupt, obviously. So the kitsune prince's name was Purnell, wasn't it? Yes, that's his name. Who all is on the supernatural council that we know of so far? We know that Dale and Nathan are on it. So they've got some from other states. And they've got some from Europe too. We haven't met them yet though. But yes, excited about that. It's gosh, the book with the kitsunes is crazy, guys. Who were Ben and Alexa Price's parents? Haven't introduced them, but they're witches. They were a witch and a warlock. I don't know that we will introduce them. Yeah, I don't know that we'll bring them into the story. Got enough people without them, and they're kind of off in their own world. But yeah. We do see Alexa and Ben a little bit more in Emmeline's book. Our Emmeline has never met Millie, but she knows about her because after David died, Alexa came back and Jordan thought they should know their siblings. So they do know who each other are. They don't spend a lot of time together, but they know the other is. So it's kind of funny in Emmeline's book in this reality when Alpha Hammond comes for a meeting and he brings Millie, and Ryan and Dustin and are there, and they're like, what is going on? So yeah, that's kind of funny because we know Dustin and Ryan are a little bit overprotective brothers, and she's like, I'm older than you. But it's funny. What partial fairies did Ben Price hide? Did he physically hide them or with magic? So he physically hid them. So he would find out who like they were coming after, and he would move them. Basically, he would tell them they were in danger, and he would move them. So there's little things like that disrupt the ring. Obviously, Ben Price wasn't on a big scale. We got hints in Raphael's psychic reading to Haley. It's not really a psychic reading because he knows what's going to happen. That's why I put it in quotes. But about one of Lexi's children's mates and one of Haley's kids' mates being a big part of like being that final piece of the puzzle. So yeah. Is Alexa or Ben Price's second chance mate significant to the story? Not really. Significant. They come back. We'll see them again. But yeah, we did get a huge hint from Raphael about books to come. Same with Miley's son. They said that Miley's son would be friends with one of Haley's kids' mates, and that they would have a lot of answers for our OG group. And in all the realities, they're going to have a lot of answers. So, and how they do gets crazy. Because let's see, I'm trying to think of a way to like. So if somebody can guess which one of Haley's children's mate it is that has like the mate that's going to be kind of a key, I'll give you guys a little tidbit. But yeah, it's how they come into that. And yeah, because like the main group obviously in our OG reality is kind of like scratching the surface of how big the rings are and what everything is that's going on. So yeah, they've kind of gotten the idea it's bigger than they think. And they're doing a good job of pushing them all back. But in pushing them back, they've driven them into the shadows. They know that Joanne, I assume it's Alexander and Keaton. Good job. It is Alexander and Keaton's mates that they were talking to Lexi. Miley's son, I don't think we said his name, so I don't expect anybody to get his name. So Keaton's mate actually knows Alexander's mate too. She looks up to her in a serious way. She considers her kind of a savior, and she wants to be like her. But she knows things. She knows things. But the person who knows the most is going to be Alexander's mate. She is a very large key. She has her own sort of resistance that she's started. She's very smart. She is she is crazy smart. She has a lot of things that she's invented. She's actually met some of the Hakura, and they've, swapped code and stuff. She's very smart, crazy, ridiculous smart. So she's got her own sort of resistance going. So yeah, she's a key to a lot of our OG group. You drove them back into the shadows, but now you're going to shine a light on the shadows with Alexander's mate. Healing is a sky trait. No, it's not. Oscar is a fire fairy. How can he heal? It's not. It's not a trait of a specific thing. It is something that is decided by the fairy goddess of who has a heart to heal. So it's not a specific trait to the sky, earth, or air. A lot of sky fairies do have it. So they kind of attribute it to the sky. I believe our original reality, Haley, thinks it's a sky trait, but it's not. It's about, I thought you said it was in Raised to Cure. I think I said it was in the OG reality because that's what Haley thinks. Haley thinks it is a sky trait. If I wrote that it was, it's supposed to say she thinks it is. So, yeah, it's about having the heart to heal. And that takes a little bit of selflessness on the fairies' part. So not a lot of fairies are healers, and Haley is the strongest one of them all. So if I wrote that, it's a typo. It's not a sky trait. It's about the heart of the fairy that has the ability to heal. Okay. Marcus's 3 children that aren't with Torby, are they full Hakura or mixed with what? We'll see them. But they are Hakura children. Obviously, he tried to have a child with Claudia that didn't work out. Thank bejesus. But they're full Hakura. He just didn't meet Torby until he'd had those kids. And then once he's met Torby, all his kids have been with her. The only time that was an exception for him was when he was under a charm with Claudia. So, yeah, because without that charm, Marcus wouldn't have tried to have a child with her. It was kind of weird to all the brothers that he was going to try because they all had kind of decided, together that outside of their mates, once they met them, they weren't going to have children. So, yeah, they should have questioned that a lot sooner. But, I mean, it would have been answered if Haley could have met Claudia because Haley would have known that she had a charm. If Haley hadn't met Claudia at the summit, if she would have met her and not been taken, she would have known that she had a charm. It was just her fairy side wasn't healed yet, so she couldn't tell that there was a charm and there was fairy things in place. What is Torby's backstory? So Torby is not unlike Veronica. She's the daughter of a lord in the Hakura realm. She is a middle child, and she has a lot of siblings, but she kind of just went to the beat of her own drum. She likes to fight. She would teach the women under her dad, like in that lordship area. She would teach them how to fight. She's also very smart. So she had several scholarships. She came to the human realm and studied. She's actually a psychiatrist, just not a child specialist psychologist. So, yeah, she's got a lot going on. Does Haley in the OG know that the promised siblings can call to each other through a ward? No, she doesn't, but Aiden does. Arian and Aiden said it in Raised to Cure, but I'm not sure I knew that from the OG books. No, you don't know that. So if Aiden and Haley were aware of the fact that they were the promised siblings, and another reason that Alania sucks is because Aiden could have got into the enclosure. If Haley had called to him with magic, and she doesn't need, she just needs her light to do that. So iron doesn't take away the fact that you have a light. She just needs her light to call to Aiden. So if they had known that, Aiden could have gotten to her and taken her home, because he wouldn't have stood. He was not standing for what was happening to her with Damon. But yes, our original reality, Haley doesn't know that she can do that. Aiden does. Aiden knows that there's nowhere, and he mentioned it in Lexi's book, that there's nowhere she can go that he cannot go. So yeah, if she's in the Hakura realm, he doesn't need an invitation to get there. If she's there, he can get there. If she's in some type of ward, if she calls to him, he can get there. And the only reason he wouldn't be able to, the reason that they can't get into that demon ward is because Alania was prepared for the promised siblings. So the fairy part of it is very dangerous for them, along with the demon part that combined with her magic to set people on fire. So how many siblings does Veronica have and what do they do? She has a couple. I think I can't remember if I specifically said how many she had in the outtake where she met Titus. She has 6 siblings. What did they do? I don't know. They weren't really important. We know that one of them is a psychiatrist. One of her sisters is a child psychologist. That's the only one that was really important. She was one of the therapists for Haley in their realm. Obviously, we know Ophelia started her therapy, but Ophelia does have missions and everything. So Ophelia and Veronica's sister were Haley's therapist. Mostly it's Ophelia, though, because she was able to come back and Haley gets comfortable with her. So, but yeah. I didn't know if the others took positions in court. So her oldest brother, her oldest sibling is a brother, and he's now the lord of the area. His father retired. In the Hakura realm, if her sister had been oldest, it would be her sister that took over, but her brother was the oldest, so he took it. If Astrid hadn't been Bjorn's mate, Astrid would have been the commander of the armies, but she's his mate, so she's going to be queen, so it's her brother. But yeah, Torby's oldest sister is the lord of her dad's area now. Who was the fairy David saw trying to take Megan? Actually, it was Drexy. Drexy was there. So he was trying to. David killed one of Drexy's nephews. But yeah, Drexy was there. Drexy has a survival instinct, you guys. He leaves people to die. But he ended up being the conduit to David and Fabian. So. But yeah, I would say we're getting close to the end of this one and starting EJ's story. I did decide we are going to start this one when he's 8. There's a lot that happens when he's 8, so I just I couldn't get around starting the story when he's 8 because there's a lot that happens. I'm sure y'all will be surprised at what is about to just come out the gate in his story. But yeah, there's just too much that happens when he's 8 for it not to start there. Since Miley is pregnant with twins and raised Takira first, does she have different kids than OG Miley? She has them at different times. So she is pregnant with twin girls right now. So I accidentally told you that her children, we know her daughter's name is Charity. I made a typo and let it out that one of her next daughter is named Misty. So she's pregnant right now with Charity and Misty. In the original reality, she had Charity, then her son, and then Misty. So in this reality, that's not the case. She's going to have the 2 girls first. Can we get a list of whose mates we have heard the name of and who has spoken? Oh, gosh. I don't know, guys. I think you would have to ask me who you want to know, and then I could tell you. I don't know that I could go through and list some. I can tell you Keaton's mate has not spoken, nor have we heard her name. That I can tell you. I can tell you... Gosh, who else? Emmeline's oldest son, we have not heard his. I don't think we actually heard any of their mates talk. Yeah, I don't think we have. I don't think we've heard any of their mates talk. Hmm. Um. Let's see. Tristan. Haven't heard his mate talk. Um. hmm. Who else do you want to know about? uh, Danver. Oh, Danver's mated. We just haven't met her. Danver has a mate. She actually works. She likes to do housework stuff. So she's one of the people that runs around managing Lucas's household. She's like the lead household manager. That's Danver's mate. We just haven't seen her. Who else? Who else do we want to know about? Don't none of you say Alexander. I can't tell you the answer. Heath's kids. Oh gosh. Have they spoken? One of them has, one of them hasn't. The Unmates Hood cousins? Who? I don't know what that means. The Unmates Hood cousins. Oh, the unmated Hood cousins. Some of them, yeah, the unmated, yeah. We're not gonna go into who all their mates are. Obviously, the one that I feel like we're interested in is Jane's. Yeah, she talked. I don't know that she has talked. Juliana, Emmeline's daughter. No, her mate has not talked. Juliana has her outline. She is the one that we've been hinting is going to be a mischievous and kind of, gets away with anything. She's a daddy's little girl. Lucas adores her. He adores all his children, but he's more strict with the boys. They don't get away with anything. His girls get away with anything and everything, and Juliana will never get in trouble from her dad. How about who is unmated that has a mate that they haven't met but we have? Oh, I mean, obviously there's Raphael. Gosh, I don't know, guys. There's so many. I don't know how to answer these questions. And what do you mean by we have? Like, we've heard that they exist. We know their name. What is the criteria here, people? That's a hard question. Let's just go with Raphael. But, oh gosh. Guys, I'm getting really excited because I know we're getting closer to EJ's story. Things are going to start coming out. I don't have to hold back about this thing that I know. Yeah, and then we're gonna have to do some interesting timeline things because we're not gonna spoil Cassie's story. That's gonna be fun. But okay. Do we have more questions or do we want to end for the day? Let's see. What fun tidbit can we end with? What fun tidbit do you guys want to end with? Amanda, what do you want to know? Will mentors play a bigger role in the OG? No. No, they don't. They still come around, obviously, with Lexi and Chase's kids, but they're not the big bad. What a dangerous question. I'm prepared. I just tell you if I can't answer your question. I'm trying to think of a little fun tidbit to end on, you guys. Start asking questions and I'll pick somebody's. I feel like I find interesting ways to answer your questions. You guys ask really good questions, and I feel like I just answer them in interesting ways. But if there's one question that you guys have about what's coming, maybe I can answer. How many more people has Haley accidentally left off her list? That is a good question. It is not a small amount. There are over 100 of them that she doesn't know about. The ring was very big in Foray, and they obviously, like Fabian, taught people how to hide who they were. So, and not everybody wanted to. So there is a group of fairies that they didn't necessarily want Haley in the way they could have her. Not everybody, and there are fairies that think Phelan is prettier than the queen, and they would have been more interested in Bexley, but Bexley is off limits. So, yeah, not everybody wanted to play with Haley the way that other people did. So she does not know. So there are over 100 with them. What else you got, Amanda? What other tidbits do we want to know? And Fabian doesn't keep a record of who's in his ring. Like he had records of like what deals he made outside of Foray. Is a kitsune someone's mate? Do we see or hear more of them? The kitsunes will come into play. In one of Haley and Eric's children's books. And we will hear and see more about them. Does Liam know the Pookie Bear story in the OG reality that was so cute? Not yet. He doesn't. He will find out in EJ's book. What happened to the mentor who was mated to the hood member? They live in the Shroud. Heath let them come in after he did an extensive questioning of them. He had Haley make them tell the truth. They just wanted to be with their mate. So they left they left their family, they left the mentor, they just wanted to be with their mate. Are we going to hear more about the Earth fairies that were in Ireland? So in our OG reality, they're no longer in Ireland. They can live there, but they can come into Foray now. So they have a deal with Aiden. What fae powers do Haley, Bexley, and Emmeline's children have? Some of Bexley's kids have sunlight hands. One of her children will also have the power to be a chameleon. They have varying earth powers. Haley, we know she's going to have a daughter that has the strongest sight that Foray has ever seen. She obviously has 2 pushers and a truth seeker already. She is also going to have a child who he's called an influencer, him and his twin. So they can influence people to do what they want. So, like, for example, if they wanted information, the cops are investigating something and they're not telling you, like, all they know, those 2 kids could influence them to tell you everything they wanted them to know. Emmeline's children, she's going to have the strongest water fairy child that Foray has ever seen. She's going to have the strongest soul searcher that they've ever seen. We've also seen that Haley is going to have children that can make like plants grow into the people and like basically combust them from the inside out. So there's that. Emmeline is going to have a child who can drown people like she can. She is going to have a child that can. So water doesn't need to be near this child for her to call the water to them. So they can bring the water no matter where they are. I think that's enough of their powers. Are there any fairies that have all 4 elements in them? Yeah, Aiden's children are only missing the water side. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. I will have to think about that. I bet multiple goddesses had to okay the influencers. Yes, they do. Can't just have somebody like Fabian having the power to influence. That would be bad. The influencer, they're kind of fun because they are a little mischievous. Who's Ailey's mate? I am not going to tell you that. I will tell you we've met him. And there was a giant hint to that in one of the outtakes. Okay. A few more questions and I'm going to log off, you guys. Sometimes I feel like I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been talking at you for an hour and a half. I'm so sorry. But okay. Which of Emmeline's kids can borrow a power temporarily? Juliana. It's Juliana. And it's one of the boys can too. So it's not just her. So Jaden can too. Jaden and Juliana. Can she only borrow fae powers or other supernaturals? So we saw in Haley's last chapter, she took a power from a demon. She can do it from any supernatural. She can take their power temporarily. So yeah, if she wanted to take a demon's ability to shimmer, she could do that once. She like couldn't do it indefinitely, but she could take their power to shimmer and shimmer somewhere. She could take a Hakira's power to open a portal, things like that. And like we saw, she took the fireball and used it to kill the demon. So I like that one. I think that's a pretty cool power. I also think that Megan's daughter, the ability to mirror, I think that's really cool. It also comes out to play in some of the stuff that the cousins all get into together. Yeah, if you bring her with you, people can't see you if she doesn't want them to. So it's kind of fun. Or you could bring her with you and no one could ever know because they wouldn't be able to see her because she's being a mirror. Are all the gods and goddesses the same in all realities? No, there are different ones. There are different versions of them, just like there are different versions of everybody else. What's up with Hexy and her mate? They're in foray. Okay. 2 more minutes, guys. Darren Frey, he finds her ability to he likes her style of present giving and she loves that. Are any kids coming from Hexy and her mate? Oh yeah, they're gonna have kids. They will have kids. Okay, 1 minute. I feel like I'm on like a countdown. It's the final countdown, you guys. See, I don't know why my phone does this. It beeps like, hey, you have a question. I look over and it's just an email. When will we see Idel's kids and is she part of the prophecy? So the whole family is part of the prophecy. Is Idel specifically called out? No. But she is part of the family, so she is part of the prophecy. And she does have kids with James. So her and James have 6 kids. So yeah, her kids are close with Hexie's kids. They still hang out with Emmeline's kids, but it's a little bit touchier because Alpha Theo in our original reality doesn't like Lucas. So they still see him, they still pop in. They're just not like super close. So, will Sharon and Garrett have kids? Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Okay. I'm going to go. We're going to end on Sharon and Garrett having kids. I will talk to you guys. I don't know. We might have another, midweek rant. Don't know. We'll see. And we will absolutely chat next Sunday. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a good week and buckle in for Eric's upcoming chapter, guys. Talk to you guys later. Bye.